Okay, let's get started. Thank you so much again for allowing us the chance to let others come into this session. And thank you again for joining Mav Essentials Live, a virtual toolkit for student success and family connections each series. Tonight we have a special guest with us from the Student Access and Resource Center. She'll be here to give a wealth of information as it relates to resources for your students, what their program has to offer, and how we can help students through this pandemic succeed and do their absolute best to finish out the semester strong. So we really appreciate you joining us to learn a little bit more about their resources. So I just want to give, as I do with every series session, I just want to give a brief overview regarding the purpose of the session. All right, you guys can see that now, right? The purpose of the Mav Essentials Live virtual toolkit session is really,
We don't see
it serves.
anything, Tasha.
Why don't you see it?
There, thank you.
Can you see it?
Yes, you're good.
Okay, thank you. The purpose of the Mav Essentials Live e-series that we host every 2 weeks, it serves as supplemental learning and supplemental education for the parents and family members of current UTA students. Whether your student or in your family came through New Maverick orientation this summer or summers in the past, it was a wealth of information that you gathered and gained during that time. And so we wanted to make sure that we gave you an opportunity to digest what you learned and then also have an opportunity to meet some of our campus partners and to ask some general questions related to their services in a very, specialized, unique environment where it's just parents and family members. And some students may be joining in as well. And so we want to make sure that we're helping you make that connection to the university and have the resources in your toolkit in order to help your student whenever the need arises. So we'll give a lot of information related to campus resources. We'll put some parent and family panels together, some student panels together. But ultimately, it's an opportunity for you to come and learn and learn and share the information as needed. These series will happen, as I mentioned earlier, bi-weekly, and we typically have them on Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Tuesdays, we host the event at noon, and on Thursdays, we host the event at 6 p.m. We try to keep those times set so that parents and family members can join in either during their lunch hour or during the evening hours after work. We all work around here, so we just want to make sure that we're keeping it accessible to everyone that is involved. Now, with every session that we host, there's always intention behind it, and we want you to learn something when you come to these e-series sessions. Whether you come for the very first time or you join us every single session, we want you to get something out of it. So one of the things, one of the four outcomes we hope that you gain is just, your ability to identify the university campus departments and resources that are available to your student. We would love for you to be able to explain that information and all the information you learn through these series with your students and other family members if necessary. Of course, we would hope that you're able to support your students' academic and personal concerns, and of course, see this series and all the resources available to you from the Parent and Family Center as helpful resources to help lead and guide your student from year to year. Now, there are going to be a couple ways that we're going to help gain that information from you. So we'll do it a couple ways. In the chat feature later on in the session, Zindi, our student liaison, will pose a question to you all, and it'll be a simple thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know how you're feeling about those questions. And then I also have a poll question that I would like to throw out at you all. Just to kind of gather and collect that information from you. And so we'll try to do that every single session. And I wanted to give you some heads up ahead of time. And you'll just grab your smartphone and then you'll text Parent Family 344 to 37607. And this is the same poll question that we'll use in every session. So once you text in Parent Family 344, you really shouldn't have to do it again. You'll just kind of use 37607 from here on out and then text in your response to the questions. Very simple. So I just wanted to give you some heads up. This is what we'll be doing at the end of the session. So get your smartphones ready, okay? We do have some virtual housekeeping to go over with you all. Of course, some community rules. You know, we're all family here. I'm Tasha Towton. I'm the interim director of the UTA Parent and Family Center. We have Zindi Namumu on the call with us. She is our undergraduate student liaison / designer for the office. We're here to help support you and your family. Just want to make sure that we're keeping all our comments general in nature and keep the concerns kind and respectful whenever we do ask them. Check your microphone. Make sure that your mic is off when you're not speaking. And then also know that we're here to help. Zindi is monitoring the chat to help address any questions or concerns you may have. I also will be monitoring the chat while I'm not speaking. And if there's something that I feel is a good question that everyone should know about, I will ask it at the end of Elvira's presentation and certainly at the end of this session, okay? Also, toward the end of the session, we will take a group photo. I really love to document our experience, document parents and family members engaged and involved in their students' education. And so I hope that you stay on the entire time to take a photo with us. We would really love to commemorate the experience, okay? We're gonna ask you to map up and smile for sure. And then of course, turn on your cameras. All right, so let's get down to business. Let's get right to it. Are you guys ready? I'm ready. I want to introduce someone that is very important to the University of Texas Arlington. She just got a recent promotion. I'm so proud of her and excited for her. Elvira Smith is the new Associate Director of the Student Access and Resource Center. She is here to give you all an overview of their resources, services, and their department, all the great work that they're doing on behalf of UTA students. And so she is here to help provide that information to you all. So without further ado, Elvira, can I turn it over to you? Are you ready?
I am ready.
Perfect. Elvira, just tell them a little bit about yourself and how long you've been at UTA, and I'll throw the cameras over to you.
Okay, great. All right, and I'll be showing just a brief PowerPoint, but let me just tell you a little bit about me. First of all, I've been in the disabilities arena for more than 20 years. In one form or fashion, I started out with children with chronic illnesses, and then went up to adults, and then the employment with disabilities. UT Arlington, I've been with UT Arlington. This is my 8th year here in the Disability Service Office in higher education. And so I find this to be very rewarding. You know, I've been here, you know, been doing it for 20 plus years, working with individuals with disabilities. And so I'm really, you know, glad to be able to present to you and hope that I can give you some information that you'll find helpful when it comes to academic accommodations. Okay, so let me just, and I'm just give you just kind of like a little brief history of disabilities and introduce you to our staff. So let me share my PowerPoint here.
I'll unshare.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. And as Tasha mentioned, we're now the Student Access and Resource Center. We were formerly called the Office for Students with Disability. We changed that name back around June, I believe. And the reason for it is because, you know, the word disability in itself, for some individuals, you know, it has a negative feel to it. And some are newly, you know, diagnosed and they don't see that as a disability, or may have some other chronic illness, but they don't see that as a disability, it's a diagnosis for them. And so we changed our name to be more inclusive and to put more of a positive spin on it. So it's about access and resources that we're able to provide for them, okay? And so that's one of the reasons we changed it, because we wanted to make it more positive, because it is positive. having a condition that impacts you, cause some limitations, that is a part of life, but we don't want it to be, want you to feel that it makes you less than a person, because it actually doesn't. Okay, so let me tell you about our staff. So this is Cindy Lowry. She is the director of the Student Access and Resource Center. I'll be referring to it as the SAR Center going forward. And so she is, she's been with our office not quite a year, but she's been very phenomenal and instrumental in changes and the future direction for which the office is going. Okay, so I already introduced myself. And this is Presty Robinson. She's only been with us a few months. Presty is our Assistant Director of Adaptive Technology. And what Presty will be doing is she'll be running our testing center. She will also be developing training modules for students on how to access certain components, how to use assistive technology, and to really embrace that. And so those are some things that Presty will be doing with our office. And we have two disability specialists, Monica Danaeus and Tiffany Reddick. Okay, and they are both, Tiffany has made a year, and Monica is coming up on her year. And so they really bring some positive energy to the office. Of the specialists and, the staff in general, 3 of us are licensed professional counselors. And so we do some disability counseling, especially for those individuals who are newly diagnosed. Okay, and then there is Marcy Garcia. She's our administrative assistant. And so Marcy is the face of our office. She's the one that fills the calls and, makes, refer to students and provide them with some information. And she's just a welcoming face into the office and make students who attend, come in, feeling, welcome. Okay. And so just a little bit of background about student higher education. One of the things I do want to point out is that accommodations in higher ed and accommodations in K-12 are going to look slightly different. Because in higher ed, we cannot alter the essential elements of a curriculum. We can't toss out parts of a curriculum that are required, and we can't modify. And those are things that they can do in K-12 that we cannot do in higher ed. But the national in higher education campus that qualify for our service is 19%. Okay, and that is campus wide. But UTA has about 50,000 students. Okay, and so 19% of that would be a significant number of students that would be registered with our office. But last time is registered with us. At present, we have just around about 1,500 or so, and that's only like 2.5% of the population, when we should be at 19%. And so we're really doing some great things in trying to apply for service more user-friendly, as well as encourage students to apply. We're trying to do a little bit more outreach for events like this, and really get our name out there. And one of those is to do even the outreach with the ISDs, and let students know about UT Arlington and the great things that we're doing to provide access in the courses. Right. Now, some of the reasons that students have not registered with us may be because of the stigma. They may feel that the disability isn't, severe enough. There's fear, denial. Maybe the K-12 experience wasn't as, popular as it should, or they feel that others will be making fun of them. So I'm going to be checking in with you, Tasha, to make sure that, because I have the best internet signal where I'm located. And so I want to make sure that, if you all are experiencing any of my technical difficulties, that I'm going back and resolving that.
I think you're good
So
to
just
go.
kind of give me a thumbs up. I can see you. Great. All right. And so also with a lot of our students, sometimes there's some cultural differences and beliefs. that can make them, not want to get registered, thinking that others may know. And sometimes students just want to try it on their own. See, if they can do it, maybe they got accommodation K through 12, and they just want to see, okay, I'm narrowed to diversity. I want to see if I can do this on my own. And they may for a while, but eventually they're going to hit that wall. And so we're going to be there. We're waiting to welcome you into our family. Okay, and here are some of the disabilities, and I want to point out that many of those are hidden. And so if you feel like that, your disability doesn't qualify because it's not visible, like someone who uses a wheelchair or someone who may be deaf or even blind, but, having, anxiety, any kind of chronic health conditions, sickle cell, even chemotherapy, you've been treated for chemotherapy, having kidney disease, heart disease, fibromyalgia, migraines, OCD, PTSD. Those are a lot of hidden disabilities. We don't see it. And, may not necessarily think, oh, that person looks just fine. But no, those are the disabilities we don't focus on, those that are hidden. And for those students, realize that, yes, they can get accommodations for that. Yes, you can. Even temporary accommodations. For instance, we call it conditional. Let's say, you broke your wrist. Okay. Well, that's going to impact you. And so we can accommodate for that until it is healed. Okay. And that's what we call our conditionals. And so we're not going to turn away a student, even if you don't have immediate documentation. We'll allow you time to get there. Okay. And so here are some of the things that we do provide in our center. We do the academic accommodation. I'm going to talk a little bit about what those academic accommodations are. We have a testing center that is located in University Hall, and we're hoping to one day expand that. We do alternative media, and basically what that is electronic text. We can convert those for students who need that. We can provide them with, we're going to be able to provide them with additional equipment that they can check out. We also, defer with other departments on access to buildings and their programs. And I mentioned earlier the disability counseling, our case management component, we're strengthening that. And basically that's just us reaching out to the student, on a regular basis, just to check in, see how they're doing, see if they're experiencing any issue. Because they may not necessarily feel comfortable saying, well, I'm having, this or this class I'm really struggling in. And so that regular checkup kind of keeps us on top of what's going on with the student. We can get them some resources to kind of help them to be a little bit more successful if we can identify it early on. And then we also, some of the things we do is career and internship opportunities. We provide students with that information. We do work with the Texas Workforce Commission and the Workforce Recruitment Program, because that is a federal program where students who are registered with our office can get internship, and there have been students that have actually gotten employment as a result of that. So it's been really great. We also do community resources. So we do try to maintain resources that are in the community that we can refer students to. So not only that, but also on, on campus as well. So we want to do some of that. We administer an Allen Sachs scholarship, disabled scholarship for students. One of the donors provide that. It's $500, each semester for students who qualify, but they do have to be registered with our office in order to apply for that scholarship. And as long as they're an undergrad, they can apply every single semester that they're an undergrad there. All right, so I mentioned accommodation. So here are some accommodation, and keep in mind, this is not all inclusive because accommodations are individualized based on the student. Adaptive furniture, there may be a padded chair, it may be some type of table, but it's going to be something that the student is needing. Note-taking devices, and that can be you taking pictures, it could be you recording the lecture, you using note-taking software to help you to, get access to the lecture material. And if professors are using, like overheads and PowerPoints, then you can get copies of those. And we like for the professors to provide those, before class, so you can kind of write on them and take your notes, and get them in electronic format. Our testing center is a reduced distraction environment, and it's where students can take exams without, feeling that others are getting up and it's distracting them, or someone is tapping and there's noise. It's not like 100% quiet, because that doesn't really exist. Okay, but it is a reduced distraction, extended time. That's one of the accommodations a lot of times you'll see in K through 12, but you will also see it in higher education. You get extended time on quizzes, on exams. You can get books into electronic format. And what's really been great, over the years I've seen, is that more and more publishers are releasing books in electronic format already. But there are still a few out there that, don't have those books in electronic format. And so what we can do, if you can't find a book, then we can reach out to the publisher to see if one exists. Worst case scenario, we can actually create an electronic textbook by splicing the spine off a book and run it through a high-speed scanner, the pages, and create that for you. Accommodations like makeup assignments. We do housing accommodations. Housing accommodations are based on the individual student's need, and it can vary. Some students may ask for a single room, or some students may have some allergies. And so things like that. Some students may have dietary needs that can't, we can help them to set up appointments with the dietitian and to talk about their dietary needs. And that would be under a housing accommodation. And so using a calculator for your math class. The CART, that's communication access real time, and that is for a student who is hard of hearing, okay, and they don't know sign language. And so that's a captioner that's actually sitting there, and there's a transcript that the student is being provided with. Students who are deaf would be assigned sign language interpreters. And let's say if a student, maybe they have dyslexia, they're not the world's best speller. Okay, within some of the accommodation for that may be that they get to use the computer to type up their answers, and that way they can use the spell check on the computer. Okay, or let's say it's hard, the little Scantrons. I had the worst time with them. But, if you have some manual dexterity issues that would cause you to be all outside that line, then accommodation for you not to have to use the Scantrons can be made. And in some cases, even having a scribe, you dictate your answers and that person typed it up for you. Okay, a reader for clarification. We use the CCTV and the JAWS, and those are magnifiers. CCTV will magnify for individuals who have visual impairment. JAWS actually reads the screen, and we do have like the FM systems, and those are amplified listening devices that students can check out that have a hearing impairment. And it comes with a mic that the professor can speak into, and then the student will have like an earpiece. And so it's like a direct feed from that professor to that student. And so memory aids being used, ESAs fall upon the housing accommodation. So the ESA is the emotional support animal, and SA is a service animal. So let me tell you a little bit about those two. There is a difference. ESA is there for emotional support, okay? And it's only allowed in housing. It's not allowed in the other buildings on campus, okay? And the service animal performs a task, so it is a working animal, and it is a dog that a student may have. And that dog goes to class because it's still performing a task. It goes in any building that the student is allowed, that the student goes into, unless there's a health and safety issue. But other than that, that's the difference between the two. And to get an ESA, students are still required to register with our office. to have an ESA in campus, and they cannot bring it to campus until they have been approved by our office. Okay. All right. Now, this is how a student can get registered with our office. We have an online application. It is so super easy. And so students can go to our online application. They can fill in their information. They can, if they received accommodations before, they can check off, these are the prior accommodations I received. And then for accommodations that they want from our office, there's a checkbox. They can go through there and they can check off those accommodations that they would like to receive from our office. They will submit that electronically. There's a link that's embedded in that. If you have documentation, you can submit that. If you don't have documentation, go ahead and submit it anyway, because we still want to meet with you and talk about some options. And so once that is submitted, the student automatically get an email confirmation. And then that very same day, they get another email that says, hey, please call or email us so you can schedule an appointment with your assigned specialist. That appointment is very important. You must meet with the specialist in order to complete your registration with our office. And then once you meet with the specialist, they go over the accommodations. They tell you how, give you some training on how to access your profile. And you'll be able to customize your accommodations based on your classes. For instance, you may, this is not a math class, so I don't need a calculator for this class, but I do want my extended time, so you can click that. And so students will have, you'll have control over your page and what you want to do with your accommodation, how you want to use them. Okay. And so basically, that's how our new system is called AIM. We just implemented it like 2 months ago. So it's fairly new, and it'll also be, you can schedule your exams there. If you have books, need books in electronic format, you'll be able to request them there as well. All right, and so this is our information. Like I said, we're in University Hall, room 102. Okay, there's our phone number, as well as the email address and our website. And so now I am going to take some question and answer. So let me unshare this. Okay, and I am available to answer questions that you all may have. You can put them in the chat box. Let's see, can I see what's in the chat box?
Cindy, can you share any questions that are in the chat?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
Okay, well, let me try to get you started a little bit. Okay, so a lot of times we get questions from students, families, and some of the questions that the students are concerned about is being registered with our office. Is that going to show up on my transcript? No, absolutely not. It will not show up on your transcript because this is an academic accommodation. It has nothing whatsoever to do with that. Okay. And so some of the things that students want to know about, they do ask us about resources, and we do refer them to tutoring services and all the other resources that are on campus. Sometimes students ask us about jobs. We refer them there. We refer them to the vocational rehab program, especially if we think that they can help, because the vocational rehab program can sponsor you to get your education. It's called training. Their job is to get individuals with disabilities employed, and part of that is training. They can buy books, supplies, pay part on tuition, and so we'll do referrals there as well. And so a lot of times, students will ask, well, is there a support group? I have maybe autism. So is there a support group for autism? We currently don't have a support group for autism, nor do we have one for any of the other disabilities. Is because there are so many. I mean, anything that impacts one or more activities of daily living, wow, if you just think about that, would be so many organizations. But there are over 300 organizations on campus that maybe you may find your niche there. But we do hope to one day build or, to implement, kind of like a community area for students or registrar office where they can go and connect with others who may have the same type of disability and just kind of create like a little network within a safe zone for students. So that's just one of our goals is to do that.
Elvira, I was going to
And
chime in and also say that you mentioned student groups. Granted, there are
Mhm.
over 300 student groups, but there always can be more. And so if you have an energetic, enthusiastic student that is a go-getter and a student leader, and they don't see a program that suits them and their needs, they can always start one. All they have to do is get one other person and an advisor, and they can start their own club, student org group, support group. They can start whatever it is that they want. So that's also a great, tip to share with parents and family members. If your students don't see something that they like or that they're interested in or it fits their needs, they can always start it themselves, right?
Oh, well, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Tasha, for
That's what I
reminding
mean.
me of that. Yes, you can start your own group. And so, and sometimes, with, to help support their their student is to be there and let go. I know we as parents it's hard to let go a little bit and allow that student to kind of drive that process and take on more and more responsibility and learn to advocate for themselves, because we're going to be doing that too. We're going to be teaching them how to also advocate for themselves and to navigate, because once you get into the world of employment, you're going to want to navigate for that, if you need that. So and a lot of times, parents, they do want their students to succeed, and we want them to succeed too. And so we may have parents that ask us about resources or strategies for learning, and we do have that. We even have the Read Write program that we're sharing with our campus wide. It's a software program that not only it will read, you can set the accent, it allow you to be able to dictate within that program. And so those are some resources that we're sharing with students, the tutoring, and we're hoping to eventually have a tutoring center that's specifically for our students to have more customized tutoring than the general just being offered. But we're not there yet, but we definitely hope to get there soon.
Hey,
And
Elvira, do you feel like you
so,
can,
and
do you
I
feel like
know
you
with COVID,
can you hear me, Elvira?
would you repeat that?
Yeah, I was
Would
just
you
going to
repeat
interject.
that? You broke up.
Yes, I was going to ask you what are the differences in how you guys are helping students succeed in a normal environment, and what are you guys doing to help students succeed during COVID?
Okay, so during COVID, well, normally, especially, with new students and even with the returning students too, normally, they would feel okay. They would reach out to their professors, more anxiety that may be going on or some things that they're experiencing. And so what we're doing now too is we're directly advocating on the behalf of the student. We're contacting the professors and we're asking them to work with the student to be, to be a little more caring about the situations that are going on with the students. They're on a lot of stress, with the COVID, and especially those that, may be at high risk. And so they have concerns about, taking classes on campus and would like to take those online. And so really we're advocating more flexibility
Okay.
with assignments or with exams. And even I'm encouraging students, if the accommodation is not working for you, come back. Let's revisit it. Let's see what we can put in place. But the time that you already have is not quite enough. So we can give you a little bit more extra time. So we can modify accommodations because we want them to be customized to that particular student's need.
Elvira, do you feel like you can give us, one parting word of advice for parents and family members as we begin to wrap up this presentation? What's one best practice? What's one word of advice you can give families to help better support their emerging adult? Because as you mentioned, we, want to take on the philosophy that we want our students to grow and and acknowledge that they're in this transitional period. They're no longer in the adolescent puberty phases of their development. But they're not necessarily full-fledged adults like you and I as well. They're right in between. And so, a general rule of thumb is to kind of just allow them the opportunity to have as much autonomy as they possibly can and challenge and support their decision making. What would you share with families? We have a couple here on the call with us. What would be your best recommendation for them to help better support their emerging adults?
First of all, to be there and not to judge. Okay, and when I say not to judge, sometimes we as parents may say, well, you didn't do your assignment, why are you playing this game when you can do the assignment? Allow for a little bit of downtime. You're the guide. Just be the guide, be the listener, and just continually support that student. Let them, develop their own responses versus you being there to give them all the answer. Kind of just guide them to where they need to go. They just need a little bit more guidance and just kind of just being there for them. And one of the things I like to say is that, during the COVID, when your student is, if your student is at home and online, be very cognizant of the environment, especially when they're testing. Okay. If you can help them to set up a really good study area aside from their bedroom, that would be great. And then be very respectful when they're taking a test and not interfering, not interrupting, or, trying to keep the noise levels down so that they can really concentrate fully, not only when they're taking tests, but when they're studying. Okay, so help them to set aside some time to study and for the family to be respectful at the time.
That's really good advice, really sound advice. Thank you so much, Elvira. Zindi, do we have any questions in the chat for Elvira?
No, ma'am, I don't see anything.
Okay, and remember, we are on until we are done. So if you think of anything, please throw it in the chat. But at this point, Elvira, do you have anything else you would like to share with parents and family members? If not, we will release you to go and have a great evening.
I just want to say that even if you don't think of anything in this chat, our email address and our website, you can definitely, later on, if you want to reach out and send an email. My email is esmith@uta.edu. And so feel free to, send your questions, that you may have directly to me, even if it's a month later. Okay.
I think that it's important to note, though, too, Elvira, and I'm not sure if you covered it. I don't think I heard it. That the only early onset of mental illness typically occurs between the ages of 18 and 25. Did I say that? So you may not necessarily see symptoms.
No, I did not say that. But yeah, it will. And what happens too a lot of times is the stress will bring on a mental illness. It may not manifest until later on in life. And, going to college can be stressful. If you are living on campus, you're away from your family. And so a lot of that, plus being overwhelmed, it's a new environment, the loneliness can bring on, mental health issues. And so, being very attuned to, your parents, your child, backwards and forward. And so being attuned to what they're saying and listening, it's not a matter of them just sucking it up and moving on, but you got to be there, pay attention to what your child is saying, what they're talking about, how they're sounding. How, you can tell the difference between when they're having a really good day and when they're not having so good of a day. And so just being attuned to that and really trying to reach out and find out what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly get in contact with the Student Access and Resource Center if you find or see any changes in your students. Encourage them to go and seek assistance from not only SAR, but also the Counseling and Psychological Services Office. Mm-hmm. They can come to our office. I can kind of have a conversation with your student on your behalf if you don't live in the city. And then make referrals as needed. Or if you just don't want to kind of ruffle feathers, or if you feel like you want to kind of help your student get through this transition, kind of problem solving on their own, or at least with some guidance and support from you, and you just need to talk and vent, this is what our office is here for. We're here to help support you and your family through every transition that your student may be experiencing, both the highs and the lows of their UTA experience. Okay, so want to make sure that you knew that, because I always kind of zero in on that, Elvira, because it's so poignant that you may not show any symptoms or signs of mental illness, all the way up until you reach college, and it becomes such a huge deal when you reach your freshman or sophomore year, or even in the senior year. And all of these challenges kind of arise, and it's just a new challenge to overcome, or just a new, obstacle to overcome and address, so that they can, reach their goals. So it's always, I feel like it's always important to share that part.
I agree with you, Tasha, it is. And so just being there.
Yep.
It's going to be very important.
Elvira. Thank you so much, Elvira. Okay, everyone, if you can turn on your videos, and let's give Miss Smith a golf clap in your video screen. We really appreciate you giving her some love. Please show her some love and thank her for her time and attention and efforts in trying to help educate and support parents and family members of current students. It is a hefty job. Our jobs as family members does not stop when they come to college, and so we want to make sure that we're giving you as many resources as we can to help make this transition as smooth as it possibly can be for you and your students. Okay. So thank you so much, Elvira.
Hey, Tasha, I want to say one thing. Look like one guest has her hand up.
Oh, okay.
Has the hand up.
Yes.
Michelle?
Yes, Michelle.
Oh, no. I was just waving hi. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. All right. Hi. Well, thank you all. You enjoy the rest of your evening.
Perfect. And you feel free to stay on. We only have a few more minutes to go.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, feel free to stay on and hang out with us if you like. So after that presentation, I want to just reiterate for all of you that are on the call, but then also for the families that may pick up and watch this recording later on, whether you are a current Maverick Parent and Family Association member or not, there is an ultimate guide to your Maverick Family connection to the University of Texas Arlington and to your students' success. Everything that you're doing or have done up to this point to help support your student get to where they are, whether they are transitioning in from high school to college, or even if they're transitioning into their sophomore year or junior, senior year, and they're currently in it and running their lives, there's still more for you to do as a family member. And so I just want to make sure that I highlighted a couple things for you all. Of course, first things first, to stay connected with the university is to join the Maverick Parent and Family Association. Definitely attend on and off-campus family-centered events. In a normal year, we host 3 signature events specifically for parents and family members, and they are a lot of fun. But during COVID, we have become innovative and creative, and we have a lot of virtual activities that we offer families as well. So just stay connected and kind of find out what resources are available to your student and share it with them whenever you find it. Lots of families love to join the Shorthorn, get those notices about, newsletters and that type of thing that happens every morning. I know that they send those out 7 a.m. every morning. Just like, my goodness, do they sleep? So a lot of people like to join the Shorthorn to get the latest information, and definitely going on the UTA main website for events and news. But we have direct communication as a member of the Maverick Parent Family Association that we share with you all regularly. And then also just continue, as Elvira said earlier, just foster a positive environment of support for your students' growth. They will be moving and changing, and they won't always make the decisions that you would make. They won't even always make the smartest decisions, but it is helping to foster their growth. And we all stumble. We all face adversity at some point in our lives. It just helps to build grit and determination, and it helps to build resiliency. So we want to allow them the space to kind of fumble a bit and possibly even fail. That will only help contribute to their growth and development as adults. And then, of course, if you have any questions or concerns, be sure to contact the Maverick Family Warm Line. It is not a hotline, because we don't handle crisis communication. That certainly should be directed toward the university campus police. But if it's something that you want to discuss as it relates to your students' experience, if you want to just vent and talk about the highs and lows of your student and their transition, call us. This is what we're here for. We don't claim to know it all, but we claim to know a lot of friends of the family around campus that we can help direct you to, that will provide some great support. So call us. This is your program. It doesn't work if we aren't in communication regularly. Like I mentioned to you before, the Maverick Parent and Family Association, if you are not members, how many of you all are members of the association on the call right now? Perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, so if you are not a member of the association, be sure to join. Registration is still open. You can purchase a 1-year membership for $30. You can renew that every year for $30. And then you can also you can buy a 4-year membership with us. And don't have to worry about renewing each year. I do want to throw out a caveat to you all that these membership fees have been in existence since 2007. That is the inception of the department. So we are looking into increasing the fees just by a little bit. We did some focus groups with families last spring. And they shared that it was okay to bump it up just a little bit, because we are offering some great services. So I want you to lock in the rates that we have right now, so that you can experience these classic vintage prices. Some of the benefits that you'll receive as members is discounts at the UTA bookstore. You'll be part of the Maverick discount program and get discounts on hotels, restaurants, vendors all across the city of Arlington. You'll also get priority registration for our family-centered events. You'll receive direct communication from our Maverick Family Communication Portal, where you'll get an opportunity to customize your communication experience. You can say that you want to receive information from us bi-weekly, monthly, annually, if that's what you so choose. You'll also have the chance to tap into some interest communities that are specifically related to your students' experience. So you definitely want to take advantage of that. And then the most popular benefits of the service is the direct benefits to your students. We are offering free testing materials all year long for your students to come and pick up Scantrons and Blue Books if they are in person. And they also have the chance to apply for scholarships that through your philanthropy, I'm not saying that right, through your donations and giving, we're able to offer this as a service to your students. We typically, in a typical year, we are able to give away 3 $800 scholarships every semester. That may look a little different this year, post-COVID, but we are still looking out for the best interests of your students as it relates to scholarships. And so for all of that, we're giving away some incentives if you decide to purchase a membership now. We're giving free custom masks and gaiters to your students and access to this Mav Essentials Live web series. So sign up now if you haven't done so already. If you are a member, I just want to remind you that if you have not picked up your membership packets, please visit the Vice President of Student Affairs office Mondays from 1 to 4 and Wednesdays from 9 to 12. They're in Suite 180. We have a membership packet for you, just a few little things that you'll need in order to for us to show that we appreciate you and welcome you to the Maverick family. Plus, you also have your membership card in there. If you ask to have your material shipped, we are still shipping information, shipping packets to you all regularly. So just kind of be patient with us. We're an office of 3 now. So just be patient with us. We'll get you your membership packet soon. And then also testing season is right around the corner. Just encourage your student to visit the Vice President of Student Affairs office to pick up their testing materials. At least through November, we have been we have been asked to relocate or go back to remote work because they are renovating our space. And so we're very excited about what's to come. And so this is a temporary pickup and drop off location. I also want to point out that there is some family fitness classes. We've partnered with Campus Recreation. They will be hosting these classes every month for us. There will be one next month. I will be sharing information in the portal about the date, the time, and also the login information that you'll need. It's just a way for us to create some family bonding through fitness. And so if you're into that sort of thing, we'd love to see you. We had a great showing, great participation last time. We want to make sure that we are showing our campus partners that parents and families are engaged. So please log in to the family fitness classes every month. All right, I am done with that part of it, but I really want to know, this is my favorite part. I really want to know, what did you learn today? Zindy's going to throw our first question in the chat, and all we're asking you to do is just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So I think her first question is related to, Zindy, what's your first question? Maybe you're trying to type and you haven't gotten a chance to show us. But what's your first question? First question, I think will have to do with what did you learn today, right? I'm going to queue up the poll as well while Zindy is sending you there. Here's my poll. Here we go. All right, so remember I told you that we were going to be doing this poll today. It is active right now, so all you have to do is text Parent Family 344 to 37607. It is an active poll, and all you're going to do is just answer this one question for me. What kind of things did you learn today in this session? What were some things that kind of rose to the surface for you? Was it about assisted services? Was it about the new name change, where they're located? What are some things you learned today in today's session on the poll? And then Zindy just put up the question in the chat. What was this session helpful to you and your family? Just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let us know how we are doing with these sessions. We'll keep this poll up for just a few minutes. Goodness, I'm hungry. Are you guys hungry? What are you having for dinner tonight? Goodness. I have no idea what my husband's making, but I don't smell anything's cooking. I'm hungry. Can't wait to get dinner going. So, all right. Was this session helpful to you and your family in the chat? Give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down. The second question Cindy is working on. So if you just hover over the chat feature, you'll be able to see some emoji icons. And there is a thumbs up, a heart, a laughing face, a surprised face, and a sad face, and a mad face. So give us one of those emojis, preferably a thumbs up. And I guess you could give us the sad face if you are not happy with the program. But thank you so much, Michelle, for giving us that thumbs up in writing form. The second question is, would you be able to share the information you learned today with your student or other family members? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Remember, if you're trying to get the poll going or if you're trying to get the survey going, just give us a thumbs up or a thumbs down in the chat. And you can also answer the poll question. Well, I'll keep this poll question up live. Let me put the link in the chat so you can go to it later on if you need to, so that we can collect your information. Okay? All right, it is 7 o'clock. I don't want to keep you past dinner time, plus my stomach's rumbling. So make sure that you answer this survey. We really appreciate your feedback. We will be doing a end of series for the fall questionnaire for you all, but we just wanted to get some real time feedback from our parents and family members before we let you go. All right, so remember this session is recorded. You can always go back and view it later on. And we really hope that you join us for our next session that we will be hosting. In a few weeks, we will do it bi-weekly. We currently have our community conversation with our Spanish-speaking families still on the books for the 29th of September. And then we start our October programming. I will be sharing our October-November calendar with you all very soon. We're still working out the details of it, but I can guarantee that it is a good one. I'm super excited about what we have to offer for October-November. Ooh, you are gonna definitely want to come and check that out with us. All right. If there are no other questions or concerns, are there any questions in the chat, Cindy? All right, if not, I am going to thank you for attending. Thank you all for watching if you're going to watch this later on. And we'll see you at the next Family Centered event. Please remember to contact us if you have questions or concerns. And remember that the E-Series in this MAVEssentials Live E-Series is defined as essential information that engages, educates, and encourages the entire family. So join us next time and look for information in the portal. We'll see you soon. Don't be a stranger. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.